A notary public is asked to notarize a document, but notices that the date on the document is a future date. How should the notary proceed? Let's look at the four choices to determine our solution. Choice A states, refuse to notarize as notarizing a document with a future date is prohibited. Now, this seems to be correct because a main function of the notary public is to ensure the accuracy and integrity of the notarization. If the date of the document is dated for the future, that leads to potential forward dating or back dating, and the potential for fraud is there. So choice A seems to be the correct solution, but let's look at the other three choices just to be certain. Choice B states, notarize the document as the date is not a concern for the notary. Well, as we just explained, indeed the date is very much a concern for the notary, and therefore the notary should not be notarizing the document, and choice B is not our solution. Choice C states, postpone the notarization until the date on the document. Now, this answer may be tempting because one may say, okay, well, if I'm only notarizing the document at a later date, then what's the issue? But the fact of the matter is that the document has been presented today with a future date. So that already leads one to concern for potential forward dating or back dating, as we mentioned before, as well as potential for fraud. So therefore, choice C is not the correct solution either. Choice D states, advise the client to change the date to the current date. Well, first off, if the notary public is not an attorney, and we cannot assume from this question that the notary public is an attorney, then the notary public cannot give any sort of advice or input on the substance of the document. But leaving that aside, again, the potential for fraud is still here because the fact of the matter is that the notary public was presented with a document with a future date. So the best alternative is for the notary public not to notarize the document at all, and therefore choice D is not our solution, which leaves choice A, refuse to notarize as notarizing a document with a future date is prohibited, as the correct solution.